Good morning. How bad is that rubbing? I have got to figure this out, man. It's just nibbling into my tire. Look at all that. Little tire bits. Gross. Well, good morning, friends. Welcome back. We are at the edge of Lake Mead where all the dreams come true. Check it out. Yeah. I just drove through Lake Mead to the other side and back. I have to put miles on the car because I took it to the body shop and they smartly disconnected the battery when they let it sit for a week while they were doing body work. Note the new spoiler install. Problem is, my smog is due. Reconnected the battery. I've only got 50-ish miles on it, and that's not enough for the ECU to be in a smog testable state. All of the evap condition assessment cycles in the ECU all say not ready yet, which means I have to drive and put a bunch of miles on it. Some of these cars allegedly take up to 100 miles to do. This is new. I've owned a few of these cars, a few now. Nissan Fairlady Z's of various different flavors, and maybe the 2016 and newer have just different ECUs, you know? But figured I'd give you an update. January 1st, 2025, right now it's 11 in the morning. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a good holiday. I traveled up north where I moved from to visit some family and some loved ones. And I got food poisoning and I'll spare you the gory details, but I was a human fountain for like 3 or 4 days and it was brutal. But I'm feeling much better now. The dehydration has been destroyed and we're back home and my tummy's no longer at war with the rest of me, so I feel great. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Let's get back to the car. Updates. I think the suspension is very good how it is. I should have gone with a 10.5 inch wide wheel instead of an 11-inch wide wheel, or picked a touch less of an aggressive offset. I don't think you can beat the way this looks, but particularly the right rear, I can't seem to lift that thing high enough where it's not nibbling into the back tire like that. Because every time I go over bumps, it's like just a little bit, and you can see it right there on the edge of the tire. So either lift it, add a bunch of degrees of camber, which I don't want to do, or maybe downsize the rear tire from 305 to 295. So we got work to do. But look at this. Look at the spoiler. That's why we're here. See, all of you haters at Cars and Coffee that's like, oh, what part of your car is actually Veilside? Because you have a sticker, but I don't see any Veilside parts. And I have to answer, the Veilside parts are the ones you don't see on the interior. Well, now, fuck you, haters. No, I'm kidding. That does partially come from a place of honesty, but I am excited. Look at this. This took me 10 years to track down this part. Not even joking. I've wanted this little ducktail / little turn down on the edges attack spoiler for so long. This is from their version 1 car, which I also think has the most attractive nose piece as far as body kits are concerned. So anyway, I got it. I'm excited. What do you guys think? It's no longer the Hot Boy Gen 1 spoiler that we had. And I can see out of the back window, guys, which to me is fucking huge. But aesthetically, there's nothing else I really want to do to this car. This is kind of exactly how I want it to be, which I think is great. What do you guys think? I know the purists among you will probably be like, why did you take a Nissan Ecutek part off the car and put a carbon fiber spoiler on it? You idiot! Well, it's a Veilside spoiler, and I think it looks dope. I think those guys, while they do make some really wild designs that I don't like, and excuse this micro scratches, I actually have to repaint correct the trunk after it came back from the body place and the paint place, so grant me a little leeway there. But while some of the Veilside stuff is extremely gaudy and over the top and outrageous, I think this is absolutely gorgeous, and I think those guys are masters at design language, even if some of their shit's pretty wild. And I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. It's one of their oldest designs, but I'm fucking hyped, guys. So, like, can see out of the back window, which is huge. This is like my new favorite angle of the car right here. Oh. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this already, because I've had this out for about maybe 2 weeks now. But I haven't done any YouTube content because I had to travel for the holidays and then subsequently got really fucking sick, to the point that I had to go to the ER and shit. So, again, feeling much better. But, yeah. So next stop, hood pins might be the last thing you see as far as exterior shit. But, I'm hyped, guys. That's it. That's the spoiler's on. Believe it or not. We did it. See, I'm rubbing back here too. It's just not as egregious as the other side. And the height front to rear is identical, even though the wheel gaps look a little different. But I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do. Like, the rears are full stiff as well on the rebound and damping, which I don't like maxing those out one way or the other. I'm doing it to mitigate some of this rubbing. And I am fairly sure the answer is to put more camber in this car, and I just don't want to fucking fishbowl my wheels. I hate it. So we need to probably do a combination of finding a way to lift the car up a tiny little bit in the rear, just deal with some wheel gap, maybe add a 1/2 to 1 degree of camber, and potentially step down to a 295. I don't think I really need a 305 with the power level that I'm at anyway. But anyway, I'm rambling now. These are all updates. Let's do a part 2 in the garage, because I want to talk about the Z1 Ecutek tune as well. Some of you have been asking questions on my older video, like comparing it to admin tuning and all that stuff, and I have some thoughts there. So maybe we'll go home and get into the lab, into the garage, and we'll talk about the tune. But part 1, spoiler, true. Yeah. Whew, okay, great news. I went to AutoZone and plugged in my car. Looks like I'm sunburnt. Plugged in the car. They said it's relearned. I'm ready for my smog inspection, which is great. So this is part 2. What were we going to talk about? We were going to talk about, the long-term opinion on the Z1 Ecutek tune. So some of you asked, and recently on the other videos, about what is the difference between the Z1 Ecutek tune and whatever tune you could get from admin. So little disclaimer, I've never had an admin tune before. I have been dyno tuned at a place called Drift Office in Auburn, Washington, and it was with Ecutek software. So I will give you my opinions, and you can take them with a grain of salt. If you're trying to delete rev hang, if you're like me and you're interested in getting a couple of maps put on specific to the octane rating of the fuel that you're getting, if you travel like me in the southern states, we have 91 octane, which is basically weasel piss. And then if you go up north, like I do a lot, in the western US anyway, you can get up to like 92, 93 octane. So there's maps for each of those where you can run a little more effectively. I wanted that. I like that. I'm a big fan of that. It moves your rev limiter up if you want, I think, another 500 RPM of redline. You can have that available with the Z1 version, and gives you launch control and some other stuff. What it mostly does is, well, it does wake things up a little bit and the peppiness is increased. What it does do is it smooths out all of the mods. And I only have, as far as engine mods, a 3-inch exhaust. Everything else is like body, suspension, brakes, like all the, you know, mechanical components for interface, but nothing power related, right? Like we're doing the supporting stuff first, we're going to get into the power stuff second. So for my money, the Z1 Stage 1 tune is wonderful for out of the box, and I highly recommend it. Is it better than admin tuning? Definitively, no, it isn't. And I'll tell you why. First of all, I watched a lot of admin's content, and I think he knows what he's doing. He seems to know this engine super duper well. But it's whether it's a remote tune session and he's putting his flavor on it, big burble maps, flame maps, bleeding edge of performance stuff, whatever you're looking for, or more specifically, a dyno tune. You know, that's going to tune for the atmospheric pressure and temperature of that day, whatever horses you're looking for. May change with temperature and other factors, but it's going to be tuned for your car with your mods on the fuel you're using, exactly in the environment you're in, and you are going to be able to maximize your fuel conditions, your lean conditions, whether you need to add or retard timing. There's so much that goes into a dyno tune session that's highly specific to your car that I think that's ultimately the best way to go. And I would have if I could find a fucking dyno tuner in Las Vegas that doesn't exclusively work on like Camaros and would be willing to touch my car, you know, or work with me on that. It seems that the best tuner I can get closest-ish to me is go to Los Angeles and have like a specialty Z tune it or something. You know, that would be like a bucket list item to go do. But, you know, I live 4.5 hours away from LA. You know what I mean? So not easy to do, and I live in a real hot environment with real shit gas. So for me, the out-of-the-box solution is great. Are both of them would I recommend buying a dyno tune session with a tuner of your choice or admin, or do an out-of-the-box with Z1 and just list out all the mods that you've done to the car and have them send you one? 2 thumbs up. Yes to both. Which one's better? Probably admin. Probably admin's better. I think, you know, knows the platform, tons of experience, has a huge catalog of success stories behind him, but it's highly specific and for whatever you want. They'll tune it for max power. They'll tune it for, you know, balance and reliability. Like you get a lot more specificity with a tune like that, especially on a dyno. I have done remote tuning sessions years ago. Things have changed a lot since then. I assume they've only gotten better, but yeah, I say they're both great. I have no real downside to this. You know, I feel like we're a few months on, 6 months maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but no problem. I think the burble tune is a little, I don't know, like, yeah, it's fun. Is it like game changing and stuff? Do I run it all the time? Not really. But I also didn't get this map for that. So I think you would be ultra satisfied, and a few of you have asked. I know recently I had a comment on the other video popped up as well and asked the exact same thing. Like, I'm in to keep an eye on what you think about the Z1 tune because I'm not sure if I should go with admin or not. I say if you're looking for a tune that only you have that's exact for your car and your mods, go with admin, man. If you got the money, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, especially if you get on a dyno, like I was saying. But if you're just looking to smooth out the rough edges, wake the car up a little bit, have a few fuel maps plus a valet mode, which I also use a lot, Z1 is 2 thumbs way up. So that's kind of it. I know that's a long-winded way of saying it's your choice, go with either one, but I don't have any downsides really to speak about. Your tuner will tell you what's dangerous and maybe where you should and shouldn't try to push it based on what they know about your car. So maybe go with their guidance there. But if you don't have, you know, the time to get to a dyno session to figure that stuff out, or you don't want the hassle of doing the remote tuning process, whatever that may be, with admin or any other tuner, I would wholeheartedly recommend the Z1 tune. Those guys are awesome. No check engine lights. That more has to do with my mods and how they're put together rather than the tuner or whatever, but no check engine lights, no problems, no hot starts, no failed starts. No real downside. So there you go. That's it. And that's where we're at with the car updates. So thanks you guys for tuning in and your questions. Keep them coming. I'd like to try and do a profile Q&A session on this car and maybe a profile Q&A session on my buddy's Z. And I don't know, maybe we'll do a cool series on it. I got some ideas. But we'll talk to you soon, all right? Happy New Year.